Hello, and welcome to this very special episode of the Sausage Factory. Happy Friday the 13th to all you guys out there. We are here to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Halloween 6, the producer's cut. Wait a minute, we're not doing Halloween 6, the producer's cut? I've screwed up. Go ahead, let's stop the show. Let's wrap it. We're done. We're done here. I know we're going to watch Halloween. Go ahead, Peter.
I quit. Sorry, I'm out of here. It's good.
We're going to be celebrating the 30th anniversary of Jason Lives, Friday the 13th, Part 6. I'm your moderator, Pizzow. With me tonight, I have got the Professor, B-Movie Mike. What's going on, Mike?
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday the 13th. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Also with me tonight is Orc. What's going on, Orc?
What's up, players? How's it going, son? Friday the 13th, the second best holiday all year. That's true, you know? Some people don't think it's that way. They never leave their house on Friday the 13th, but, you know.
What's
I'm
your
a
first?
fan.
Yeah. What's your first favorite holiday? Is it Arbor Day?
My first favorite? Halloween, of course. Come on now.
Okay. I thought you were big into Arbor Day, but...
You know, probably Friday the 13th, anytime it comes around, Halloween, and then 4th of July, America, you know.
Okay. Celebrate the genocide of an entire people. Also with me tonight is Jay the Stingray. What's going on, Stingray? What are we drinking tonight, Stingray? We can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear him either. Google has a microphone mute feature. You might have to unmute the microphone.
Yeah, you may have to. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll go on. We'll move on. And joining us for an unprecedented 6th appearance, the author of Crystal Lake Memories, the complete history of Friday the 13th, and all around just swell guy, Mr. Peter Bracke. How you doing, sir?
I'm really good. Thank you, guys. I can't believe it 6 times. No, honestly, I'm really honored. I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. So.
Well, we're honored to have you. It's always fun to have you on the show. I mean, you're the world's foremost authority on Friday the 13th, so it's great to have you here to talk. There you go. There you go. So what have you been, Peter? We've been about a year since we've seen you. How's things going?
Yeah, things are good. You know, new place. Yeah, life's treating well. Friday week keeps going on and on. Yeah, can't complain. So.
Cool. Are you you got any new projects in the works? Anything that you can that you?
Yeah, a couple of fun things. Working on some book ideas involving slashers, but not the 80s. We'll keep it at that for now. I'm also having fun. Started making a Friday card game set, so we'll see how that goes. So that's been
cool.
Fun. So that ties in with Camp Blood. You guys remember? But we'll talk about that in the movie. Remember the whole Camp Blood card game? So
yeah,
super fun. Doing little stuff like that. Helped a friend. I know it's a different franchise, but have you guys ever heard of the Never Sleep Again?
Oh
documentary? Yeah. My friend Tommy Hudson wrote a book called Never Sleep Again, hardcover. Just came out in softcover, so I did all the layouts and design for that. So we just had a book signing party last week. That was cool. So go out and buy Never Sleep Again, the book. Available now on Amazon. So,
yeah, absolutely.
So watching horror movies.
So, speaking of Friday the 13th, have you been privy to any Friday the 13th news that we may not have heard about?
Yeah, you know, as you know, the game's coming out, the video game looks really cool. Have you guys seen that? So I know Sean Kelly is involved with that personally. That looks really awesome. That's coming along. And you guys heard about the TV series? Unfortunately, it's not happening. You know?
Yes, we heard about that.
What I know is I've seen different concepts over the years. It seems like everyone loves the idea of Friday the 13th, the series, like a Jason series. But then when you think about it, like, well, what is it actually about? How do you make a series out of that? And just it doesn't seem to be able to come with a concept that anyone's wanted to buy. So maybe they'll revive it, but right now, from what I heard, CW Pass, so I don't know where it's at. And then the movie, they hired a new screenwriter, the guy who wrote Prisoners, the movie. So he has not delivered a script yet, but they're waiting for that. So they turned down all the other ideas before. So Paramount says they're still committed to making a new movie. So, but there's no script. It hasn't started shooting. There's no director. So once the script comes in, we'll see what happens. So, but from what I understand, Paramount has to make it sooner. They lose the rights. So there's a ticking clock. So hopefully that'll happen.
Yeah, hopefully.
We'll see.
Yeah. And the guy and the writer of Prisoners, I mean, that was a pretty good flick. So I mean,
I think they're going highbrow with it or something. So I've heard rumblings that they're going to try to go. It's going to be period. It's not going to be new kids. So it'll be in the past, exploring Jason. I don't know. It's tough. I think fans just want a straightforward slasher, but the studio seems to think you need to have some sort of angle or something new or different. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I understand that, I mean, maybe kids today, just a guy killing people isn't enough, so you have to have some sort of big hook. But then if you take it, well, we can talk about that during the movie, We start adding the gimmicks and the Manhattan and space, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I think I think what they've done with Friday the 13th, this new movie, whatever, is up to this point they've totally overthought it. They've had it's had to have some kind of gimmick. It's got to be found footage or 3D, or it's got to be it's got to have some kind of gimmick. Which I mean, Jason is kind of a gimmick. Isn't he enough of a gimmick? I mean, that's what people are going to watch. Is really, so. I don't know. I think they're just kind of overthinking it.
Well, I thought with things like The Conjuring and stuff, good old-fashioned scares, characters that you like. That's all you need. You don't need. See, if you watch The Conjuring, those kind of movies, there really isn't a gimmick. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a good, straightforward ghost story. I think people just want something scary and fun, but I don't know. As long as it's not found footage, I'm happy.
Yes, we don't need found footage. No, don't need found footage Friday the 13th. Absolutely not. No.
You're one of the ideas, right? They were going to put a camera in Jason's head. It's like one of his eyes is a camera. Yes.
I heard about that. Yeah. And actually, the game. I was actually talking to recently one of the guys who's developing the game, and he has promised to give me some beta codes when it's ready for beta access. So I will have some beta codes eventually when it's ready for beta access, and I'll pass those out so we can play the game together. It should be
awesome. Cool. Yeah, he comes out this fall, right?
Yeah, pretty soon. Yeah. Couple of quick announcements I need to make before we dive into the commentary. Our friends over at Loot Crate have given us a promo code good for $3 off your first crate. Follow the link in the description. Use the promo code in this video's description and get $3 off your first crate. Also, I've got some goodies to give away during this show. What we're going to do at the end of the commentary is play a little Friday the 13th Part 6 trivia. Mr. Bracke has got a couple of trivia questions for us. We're going to play some trivia and get the answer right, and you could win a shirt just like the one I'm wearing. Crystal Lake Camp Counselor shirt, courtesy of our friends over at T-Shirt Bordello. Also, over at T-Shirt Bordello, all of their Friday the 13th shirts today are marked down to $12. Follow the link in this video's description. Head over to T-Shirt Bordello. Check them out. They've got a killer selection of movie shirts, and you could win a shirt just like this one. Also, courtesy of my buddy Doug over at Drown Boy Productions, he has given us a handcrafted Friday the 13th Part 6 hockey mask, and yes, that is a bullet hole. So, very cool mask, handcrafted. Head over to Drown Boy Productions' Facebook page and their YouTube channel. Both those links are in the description. So what we're going to do at the end of the commentary is play Friday the 13th trivia. Make sure you guys are following us on Twitter in order to participate at TSF Nation. That link is also in this video's description. Head over there. If you're not following us, you definitely should, as we got some cool swag to give away. Are you guys ready to get this party started?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody out there who's wanting to watch the movie with us and discuss it with us in real time, we're all set up at the very beginning of the film, 0.00, before the Paramount logo appears. tell us your thoughts on Friday the 13th Part 6. If you have any questions for us or for Mr. Bracke, tweet them at us at TSF Nation. Leave them in the comment section of the video, or come over to the website, thesausagefactoryshow.com, and join us in the live chat over there. And we'll might do a little Q&A session after the commentary as well. So let's go ahead and let's get the party started here. And we'll count down from 5, and then we'll go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. All right, cool. Oh, wait, I forgot to switch out my Halloween 6 disc. Oh, God. Oh, well, I'll pretend. This is the one with Roy in it, right?
Yep.
All right, cool.
Let me know if that's too loud.
Yeah, mind those volumes, people. We don't want any copyright strikes.
Shouldn't your shirt say Camp Forest Green, not Camp Crystal Lake?
There you go.
What do you guys think of that? The name change thing.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I thought it made sense that the community was trying to move away from that and put it behind them, and
Yeah.
it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
Old Horseshack.
Oh,
I actually saw this film in a drive-in, and I had a great time. It's just, I don't know about you guys, but in my opinion, this is like the last of the really good sequels.
yeah. I was a little bit. It was tough for me because I saw it. I was in the Midwest at the time, opening night in the burbs, and I don't know. It was just one of those things where there wasn't a lot of people there. I don't know what happened. We saw it at like a mall, so there's maybe 20 people. So I liked it. It was fun, but I wish I could have saw it for the first time in like a packed theater. But, it was cool. So the audience was like, okay, but they weren't great.
What do you feel? What was the kind of atmosphere amongst the fan base and kind of at Paramount at the time too, after Friday 5? Because I think that that kind of left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. What was the sort of mission statement for Part 6?
Well, I do remember, I think Frank Mancuso got it right in the interview in the book, where, after the final chapter, a lot of my friends saw the final chapter, and then after that, people were like, okay, only the diehard fans really stuck around. They're like, let's see the final chapter. So I remember Part 5, it opened well, but last time my friends were like, I'm done with this. But all those diehards stuck around, and 5 was so bad, by Part 6, I remember a friend saying, "Oh, Part 5 sucked. I'm not seeing Part 6." So there definitely was a sense of, they say the damage of a movie like Part 5 isn't the Part 5; it's the movie after. They kind of have to wind out to say that it's 6, because people were so turned off by 5, they weren't going to rush out and see 6. Even though 6 was a much better movie, I think we all can agree. People didn't. It was the first Friday that didn't open at #1 at the box office either. So, and I think definitely was a result of Part 5 not being so hot. So Paramount was hoping, okay, let's get this back on track. They definitely said we have to bring Jason back. And that was really the main thing, just get Jason back in there. And they wanted to put it out in the summer. They got Alice Cooper. They pushed it. I remember they pushed it on MTV. They were trying to make it more commercial. So they're definitely aware that Part 5 was not well.
Considering the storyline of Part 6, you could almost kind of, if you wanted to, ignore Part 5, because this kind of is a good bookend to Part 4, because it's more about Tommy, so you could just kind of pretend that 5 doesn't exist if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But I was there. 5, kind of pissed me off, but I didn't hate it. I mean, I don't know. I went back for 6. I was just happy to see Jason back, and it pretty much gave me what I wanted. I mean, had a good soundtrack, and it was fun. It was definitely the 80s.
Well, didn't they, even though, Part 5 had been kind of a disappointment, wasn't it initially John Shepard was supposed to be back to reprise the role of Tommy, and Shavar, Reggie the Reckless was supposed to be back too, right?
Yep. Well, there's different stories. That's one of those things. So what I understood is that they want John Shepard back. He decided not to do it. He didn't confirm that, because he's moving in a different direction. And then once he was gone, they decided not to include Melanie Kinnaman. And then Shavar Ross said originally that he was supposed to come back, but he was going to die at the beginning, die on screen. So it was just kind of going to be Melanie Kinnaman for a while. And then once John Shepard didn't do it, they just dropped the whole thing. And then Tom McLaughlin got on board, wrote his own script. And so that's sort of the story I got, is that John Shepard was supposed to do it. They offered it to him, but he turned it down. And then once he turned it down, everyone else kind of got dropped by the wayside. But then Tom McLaughlin, he told me he never wrote a script with them in it. So that was, you know what I mean? When he came on board, he wrote his own script. So I don't know if it was like an idea before Tom McLaughlin came on board, hey, we'll bring the other two back. It never got that far because there's no script that I've ever seen that Tom talked about that had them in it. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they definitely wanted you. I just remember the trailer was Jason. They wanted you to know Jason is back. It's no imposter. This is Jason back without a doubt.
Jason lives. I mean, it's right in the title,
Exactly.
Well, 22, I think it's the only one right when the opening credits, we missed it. Oh, no, it's coming up. I mean, it says Jason lives first, and then Friday the 13th, part 6. Like,
Yep.
The title comes first.
And this was the first, I guess, zombie Jason film.
Yeah. Unless you count the dream sequence in 5. But
Yeah.
And I like what Tom McLaughlin did, like the idea that Jason, because he's a zombie, he's kind of like an animal. He comes back to the place he's from. He patrols it. He's more animal-like. I thought that was a cool way to add some layers to Jason.
It was almost like Jaws, almost like a shark patrolling his area.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it was also a little bit of a Frankenstein thing thrown in there with his resurrection by electricity and kind of some of his movements. And I think the director said that you could watch this in black and white because he kind of wanted to give it the feel of an old horror film.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I've never done that. That'd be fun to do.
It would be, yeah.
And two, I thought it was cool. Go ahead.
Well, I think McLaughlin did a very smart thing in that and I think you may have said this in your book, Peter, but he was like, this is the 6th movie. If you don't interject some humor into it, we're not making fun of it, but having fun with it. I mean, this is the 6th movie, for God's sake. So, I mean, I think he did a really smart thing in injecting some humor in it. And, I mean, this is a really well-made movie, too. He definitely wanted that gothic kind of look and feel to it, which was a really smart idea, too.
Absolutely.
And the money was on screen.
Definitely.
Well, too, I mean, at this point, even Freddy, like, after 4 or 5 movies, Jason becomes kind of this iconic character. I mean, you still want it to be scary, but he's not going to be terrifying anymore. He's not the Jason of part 2. So if you don't put humor, people are going to start laughing at the movie if you don't make them laugh first, I think. I think that's just truth to that.
And wasn't that kind of Frank Mancuso's objective to Tom McLaughlin was, okay, you don't make fun of Jason. You can have humor in it, just don't make fun of Jason.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it was a good question. Did it go too funny? I guess we can talk about it later. But, the one scene for me that personally went too far was the Survivalists. That got too joke. You know what I mean? But that's personal taste. So, yeah. But it didn't become like, camp like Leprechaun or something,
Yeah. The smiley face on the tree might have been a little too much. That might have been a little too much.
Yeah. The music, the little kind of military kind of was a little funny, but
yeah. yeah.
Friday the 13th, my love for violins.
Totally. Yeah, the score is different. I guess part 5 changed, but the score started to change too around this time. They're more fun and upbeat and not poppy, but brighter, maybe. The Alice Cooper songs and stuff. So here it is.
Was
Jason Lives.
Yeah. Well, was this kind of? Do you think this was sort of Paramount's answer to Nightmare on Elm Street 4? Because Nightmare on Elm Street 4 had been this huge mainstream success, and it was very colorful and very mainstream.
That came out after this. Yeah. So this was filming before Dream Warriors came out. Dream Warriors came out in March of '86. This came out in August. So Tom McLaughlin wrote this and started shooting before Dream Warriors even came out. The one that was affected by Nightmare on Elm Street was part 8. That's where they told Rob had specifically, you gotta bring something fresh into this because Nightmare on Elm Street is his dream sequence. That's why you watch Part 8. You see, the Jason coming out of the mirror and all that. So yeah, this Nightmare on Elm Street didn't quite affect. People forget Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 2 came out in 84, 85. So Nightmare on Elm Street 2 came out at the end of 80, or what was it? Yeah, 85. So I'm sorry, DreamWorks came out in 87. So Nightmare on Elm Street 5 just came out in the fall. This was 86. So Nightmare on Elm Street hadn't quite taken off yet. Fully, it was still dark and sorry.
That's always what I thought, because they'd gone out, they got Alice Cooper, even though at this point he wasn't like top of the charts, but he was mainstream music. They made it a little flashier film, a little better made film. So I thought maybe a more MTV friendly.
Friday the 13th video. Yes, I remember that. So yeah. I think Tom McLaughlin, like you said, he said in the book, he's like, I want to have a car chase, something more for the fans than just people in the cabin again. So it's true. What did you guys think? Did you guys find it scary when you first saw it?
I found it to be very entertaining. It was funny. It was a little blood. It could have been a little gorier, maybe. It felt like they kind of maybe held back a little bit, but that was kind of what it was going on at the time anyway. But as far as Alice Cooper, that was like his comeback. He had just come out of rehab because he had hit rock bottom, and Constrictor was the album that I think these songs were on, and that was his like big '80s comeback. And then he came out with some more Raise Your Fist and Yell, and then Poison and stuff like that. But this movie really helped to get him back, and that's why he thought, well, I'm Alice Cooper. This is Friday the 13th. It's perfect. Let's do it. I didn't understand the synthesizers though, because he was always more of a guitar-based rock and roll type thing.
Yeah. Well, in the ebook version, because at the time we weren't able to get an interview for the hardcover, but he's in the ebook. He talked about he did an early version of He's Back that was more rock. And then I think either he saw footage from the movie or something, they had a talk, and he added a little poppier, so I was, the movie is more bright and fun, and it's not dark and intense, so he added the keyboards and the poppier aspect.
I have a quick question. For the Kindle version, let's say, do you guys make small updates every now and then to the book? Or how does that work? Yeah, it's
free. So once you buy the book, any updates, the hard thing is, I'll be honest, is I have like another 10 interviews of people I could add. On top of what's already extra in the ebook. The thing is, I thought, should I wait for the new movie? Do I write a new chapter on the remake, or do I wait? So we're adding stuff. So I'm hoping to add stuff for coming up Halloween. And make it substantial. So I don't know. It's tough. But yeah, we do. It's ongoing. And things like after the book came out, suddenly people were doing conventions. A lot of people came out of the woodwork. So it's hard because the book gets, I don't want to get too long where people are bored too.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's like 12 or 13 new interviews in the ebook that you can't get in the extended interviews with other people. And I have like another 10 interviews. Plus the remake, we interviewed a lot of the remake people, so that's all in the canon. So I'm hoping, but I'd like to do a new hardcover, but it seems like it makes sense to wait for a new movie because I don't want to double dip and make people buy a hardcover book. So. I think a lot of people do interviews online too, right? A lot of the stars have done interviews, like some of the casts do like a lot of web interviews and podcasts. There's a ton more information now. Yeah, you can find out a lot more.
Stingray, do you remember the first time you saw Friday the 13th Part 6?
Oh man, it was in a one of those marathons that Orc was talking about earlier. Like one of those deals where they all kind of bled together for a few years.
A TNN marathon, right? So an old school channel.
TBS, one of those things, yeah. They used to do those all the time.
Well, I always thought, and Part 6 was always the one to me that was like never on TV. Like the USA Up All Nights, it seems like they would play 1, 2, and 3, like 5, 7, and 8. They never played Part 6. Which I always thought was, or 4 really. So that one always, Part 6 and Part 4 to me were always kind of like, they were more sought after for me. So Part 6 is probably, I want to say, probably the first one I ever bought on VHS back in the day.
It may have been on USA channel actually. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was a big push at the time. Part 6 I think was the first time when they came out in Laserdisc, and there was a poster, their re-promotion. They re-promoted all the previous 5 to video stores. So I remember I had a poster somewhere. I think it's an ebook. It's like part 6 with all the boxes of the other movies that were reissued and on Laserdisc for the first thing. So I remember it was a re-push on video at the time. So I think around '86 was when video really started taking off, right? Home video. It had been around, but that would have been the time they would have probably re-pushed everything.
Yeah. Mike, you said you saw the film at a drive-in?
Yes, I did.
What was that like? I've never seen a film at the drive-in at all, but I mean, what was that like watching this movie at the drive-in?
It's hard to explain it to somebody that's never seen a movie at a drive-in. You're sitting in your car, you're by yourself, you can do whatever you want to do while you're watching the movie. It's you're outside. I saw it in a drive-in in a city though. Indianapolis had a couple of drive-ins back in the day.
The sound was terrible. Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was out in the middle of nowhere. But it was fun. I had a lot of fun.
Cool.
So those were the days when you hide some friends in the trunk with the beer. And you go in, you got a car full of people, and you're drinking beer and having a good time. The good old days.
Totally. I was going to ask you what the crowd reaction was like, but I guess you can't really gauge a crowd reaction when you're watching the movie in your car.
Yeah, that's true.
What was the crowd reaction in the theater when you saw it, Peter?
I mean, again, there wasn't that many people. It was like at a mall in the suburbs of Chicago, so it was kind of, a couple. There's some laughs, but 25 people isn't a lot. So it definitely was different than I remember seeing Final Chapter opening night and it was packed. And it was totally different. So it was fine. I mean, I enjoyed it as a fan. I was so excited to see it. But it's kind of it's like imagine 20 people. Oh, hey, that was kind of as exciting as I got.
So the thrill was kind of gone at this point.
Yeah, I remember going, oh man, this sucks. This movie isn't doing well. And then Aliens opened. Aliens was #1 at the box office that weekend. So most of my friends were like, Aliens is amazing, But so I remember the next week at school, everyone was talking about Aliens. No one cared about Friday the 13th. They're like, oh, you see that? So
kind of on the same topic, but I hope Conjuring 2 does good, especially with Juan behind it directing. So, but yeah.
I think this is the movie where suddenly Friday the 13th became for the fans only. It stopped being like a mainstream thing,
Yeah. Which is too bad because I mean this one really, like we were saying before, it's really well made, and it's got a good cast with some good acting in it. You know what I mean?
Got pretty good reviews for Friday the 13th. I mean, it got decent notices. I mean, those movies never got any good reviews, so the fact that anyone liked it or said something positive was a big deal at the time.
I love this guy.
That's awesome.
He had a bigger part in the original script. So.
Yeah, that's right. Didn't he? He lived in the original script. And wasn't there a scene at the end with Jason's father?
Yeah, so Jason's father would pay him to take care of Jason's grave, and so at the end he comes and talks to him, and it ends with Jason's dad. You can read it in the novelization. Frank Mancuso made him take it out, so just too bad. Cool.
Where was the film shot?
Georgia,
okay.
Yeah, Covington, I think, and surrounding areas. Very pretty.
Yeah. I've always thought this movie's had a really good cast, and I mean, of course, oh God, I forgot his name. The lead actor who was in Return of the Dead. Tom Matthews, yeah, good God. I always thought he was great in this, and the lead actress there, her name escapes me at the moment too.
Africa.
Oh yeah, I always loved her. I thought she was fantastic. She just seemed so like a normal person. What I mean?
Natural, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
This dude with the headphones is completely the opposite. He's not a normal person at all.
That dude's cool as hell.
We can even like the aesthetic, like the jeans. It's totally heavy metal, 80s MTV feel.
That is the exact outfit I wore to work today.
Yeah.
Yes, people, that is my generation.
Yeah, too.
You used to pick your belly button out at people, Mike?
No, I saw a lot of people did that though.
There's some people today that wear their shirts and their guts inadvertently hang out from them, the bottom of them. So. I saw one of those today, so at work, by the way.
Just gotta say shout out to Mike. Thanks for storming the beaches. I appreciate it. Just kidding, don't kill me.
Well, this movie also has the distinction of being the only Friday the 13th where the kids actually showed up at camp.
Is it Jennifer Garner?
There's actually a story behind that. Tom McLaughlin told me that actress who drove the bus, the only reason she's in the movie is because Eddie Murphy did something with Paramount, and I guess she's some relation to his agent. So the agent said, you had to put this girl in your movie because she needs to get a SAG card or something.
It doesn't all start with horror. It starts with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Hollywood.
Very Hollywood thing.
That's how this movie got made. Eddie Murphy said, I need to get a SAG card for somebody, so let's make this whole movie.
He was prepping for Vampire in Brooklyn. There you go.
There you go.
Look, my side chick needs a part in a movie.
Anything for you, Eddie. Let's go.
I think we missed Tony Goldwyn, right? He was already on screen.
Yes, we did miss him. Yes, yeah, we missed him. Yeah.
He
Very
killed two
memorable.
guys in this movie.
Yeah, had a very memorable part in the movie.
Yeah.
And the his female companion, that was Tom McLaughlin's wife, right?
Yeah, still married. And she's always like, he wrote this really awful death scene for me. I don't know what this means. Like, he has me hit the face with the spear.
That's love.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we mentioned the comedic elements of the film, and does it go too comedic? I never really, when I was a kid, I loved all this because, it was just like, but watching the movie now as an adult, it does kind of ring a little, maybe too much.
Yeah.
Especially the bumbly guy that shows up here in a minute.
It feels like filler to me, too. Like, okay, we got to have kill. Doesn't have anything to do with anything else. And I don't know. I thought maybe they added a counselor extra or two and had maybe the next.
It would have been cool if they'd have left this kill intact when he chops all three of the heads off.
Oh man.
Well, yeah. And that
would have made it better.
I guess they had to be like, well, Jason's got to get his tools from somebody, so why not one of these dudes?
Yeah.
She should have stayed in the kitchen where she belongs.
Like the Dead had bands, like it's cute stuff, but it is. I guess.
Oh.
And the smiley face, just too much.
Yeah.
Just too much.
This is
Now,
fun.
that is not C.J. Graham.
No.
Nope.
That is a fun story. The guy's name is Dan Bradley. I actually called him for an interview and trying to do the book. And I guess his agent didn't tell him what it was about. So he gets on the phone all excited. I guess he thought I was interviewing about something else. And he's like, what's this about? I said, Friday. He's like, click, hung up on me. And then talked to me. I don't know about it, so I'm sorry.
The Moobs was mad.
So
Yeah.
what's the whole story behind that? Was did Tom McLaughlin like him and want to hire him to be Jason despite the fact that he was a little meaty, or?
No, somebody. Go ahead.
Oh, I was told that he was fine and then he got hired and then he ate too much. So when they started shooting, Frank McCuse was like, this guy's too fat. I think it was the shot when he gets hit with the red thing.
Yeah.
You can kind of see it. He looks a little breasty. So that's what I was told. He did all the daylight stuff with him and then they got a new Jason. So that's what I was told. Let's see what's good.
I always wanted to be a big actor, but every time Monopoly comes around at McDonald's, I just can't.
I kind of feel bad for the guy, but C.J. Graham really nailed it, though.
Yeah.
All his scenes are the best.
And Dan Bradley did okay. He's a director now. He directed the Red Dawn remake and stuff. So
That's cool.
yeah. He's a career.
He's moved. Apparently he's not completely moved on. There's still a little animosity there.
Well, that was 10. This was in 2003. So
Okay.
I think he's done a lot since. So maybe, but he won't. I've heard he won't talk about it at conventions and stuff. So still,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know. But you would think he would just laugh about it at this point.
Yeah.
But these guys have gone on to stuff. I've seen these actors and other stuff. Anyway, sorry.
But could you imagine, like, Tom McLaughlin having to walk up to him and be like, "Man, I've got to fire you because you're too fat."
Yeah, I know.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Here it comes.
Let's
Here's
see it. This shot right
doesn't
here.
he jiggle? Doesn't he jiggle a little bit?
Yeah, look at he's a little.
He's a little meaty. He's a little meaty. Well, I mean, he's been in the ground all those years. Maybe he's just bloated with all those maggots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you look at the side shots of him during the day. Like if you watch the beginning of the movie when CJ comes out, you can see CJ's big, but not thick. So you see what I mean? Like, yeah, I can see how maybe they would.
Yeah. Well, CJ, like Mike was saying, he's I think an excellent Jason, but he's one of those guys who, there's all these different Jason camps. There's the Kane Hodder camps. There's the Richard Brooker camps. There's the Ted White camps. I don't really hear many people referencing CJ Graham, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know. Part of it for me is I don't really like the gloves or there's something a little creepier about him than some of the other ones, just in terms of dress. Like, I don't know what it is. Like here,
it looks like he kind of like he killed everybody at like an Ace Hardware and just picked them up.
Yeah.
I was like, let's go.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah.
It's like a utility belt.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's hard to because then like you get to like part 7, which is really cool makeup. Whatever you think of the movie, Jason looks really with the teeth, So, no one really talks about the part 8 Jason either, do they? Or 9?
No, not really. Not really.
I guess they just lumped that in because it was hotter.
Yeah.
But I like them all for different reasons. I like Jason in 2, 3, 4, 6.
Mm-hmm.
I like them all for different reasons.
Yeah.
It's hard to nail who was the perfect one because of the progression of the character.
Yeah. Like I think CJ is right for this interpretation of zombie.
Right.
Like I don't think CJ would have been right for like part 3 or 4. I think it was better to have someone different. Whereas I don't think Richard Brooker would have worked for this zombie really.
I agree.
No, it was perfect in 3.
Yeah.
Man.
Where the red light
red
goes.
dot sign, man. Ya bang.
Well, I remember the novelization of this came out 2 or 3 weeks before the movie. That was just back in the day when they released novelizations early. And I read it, and the line's different. It says, wherever the red dot goes, a bull is sure to follow. So when I saw the movie, I'm like, what's this kabang thing? Like, it's only shit. Yeah, I had the book in my head.
Well, and I mean, were you after reading that book, were you hyped to be like, oh my god, at the end of this, Jason's day is going to show up? Holy crap!
Yeah. Although, actually, no, maybe I would, because I think in Fangor they revealed that he changed it. I think he did. He said, "Oh, we're going to have Jason's father." So I think I was aware of that. Yeah. But all the jokes were ruined for me.
And Jennifer Cook has aged like wine. She still looks really good.
Yeah. Really friendly and fun. They're trying to get her to do a convention. She's like, who'd want my autograph? So hopefully she'll change her mind. Some of these people don't think they have fans. I'm like, no, people really want to see you. But,
exactly, yeah. If people will pay for Warrington Gillette, and they do, they will pay for you.
And she's been on V and other stuff, so.
Oh, yeah. I'd pay for this guy's autograph, too. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's done a couple conventions, I think.
Classic Walkman. Were there any concerns from the studio about having the kids actually show up to camp for this film?
It was more the cost, because when you use kids, you have to go to a state that allows the children to work late. So they were more concerned about budget. It costs more money. Anytime you have kids, things cost more. So I don't think it was aesthetic. I don't think Paramount really is like, just go do it. It's all about budget. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. But Tom pushed for it and got it. So.
Well, it definitely adds a whole new sort of level of threat to the film when the kids are actually at camp. I remember, I like vividly remember that line watching this movie as a kid, thinking, how would you wear your balls as earrings? Oh God, that would hurt. You know.
Yeah, this was a reshoot too. They added this in afterwards. They did the movie and they said there wasn't enough kills, so that's why this was not in the original script. Or they added that later. Although I'm sorry to hear. And these, yeah, that guy on the left is named Roger Rose. He was like a big VH1 VJ at the time. I remember that.
Huh.
Kathleen, you've led me astray.
So it's funny, this movie's only 87 minutes long, so I'm thinking if this was an edition, like, it must have been really short before this.
Yeah.
This is a good 4 or 5 minutes right here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these two just scream like filler kills. You know what I mean? Like just total fodder. You know.
And you can totally tell this was shot in L.A. Like, if I live here, you can totally tell that's Runyon Canyon. Runyon Canyon's a very popular hiking spot. It totally looks like Runyon Canyon too. Like, I'm not in Georgia for this.
Now this guy needs to do conventions, if he's still with us.
He is, yeah. He's older, but he's on the DVD extras. Bob Larkin.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there anybody from this film that you couldn't get to interview for the book?
Yeah, Sissy.
Other than Dan, what's his name?
Dan Bradley, yeah. Sissy Renee Jones. She turned it down, but then we were going to get her for the documentary, the Crystal Members documentary, and she said she didn't want to be on camera, so she said she would do something for the, a new edition. So maybe I'll get her. But she is, she's more religious, so like she doesn't, she was on Days of Our Lives with Kevin Spiritus, so he actually called her to put in a good word too. Because at first she was like, no, she doesn't really like dark stuff. She said, so we might be able to add her in. But at the time, yeah, she was hesitant.
Okay.
That's I knew that every movie there's so many people, you're gonna miss out on 1 or 2 people, but we got mostly everyone else. I think Tom Matthews is hard to get at first, and she's actually like there to Deputy Rick Cologne, the guy with the gun. That's their very real life. The sheriff's deputy, the deputy.
Yeah.
Well,
Is it Tom Matthews in like the real estate business now?
he's at home because he builds houses and stuff, like a big construction. He does homes for the stars. He was one of George Clooney's best friends. George Clooney used to come to the set all the time to hang out with them. I think there's so he actually makes he runs a whole construction company here in
Cool.
Yeah, I think he's doing okay. Yeah, he left acting. This is a room for me where the movie got more fun, like once night fell and stock in the camp.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all the fillers out of the way. Here she talks about the Camp Blood card game. So as a kid, I always wanted to make a Freddy and card game, so I'm working on that.
Tell us a little bit about the game.
Well, yeah. So you there's a body count. So like doing all these character cards, and you kill off characters, and the goal is to have the biggest body count of anyone. And then there's like kind of fun cards that sort of throw things in array. And there's final go cards. You got to defeat the final girl at the end. It's kind of fun. So we'll see. I'll also call up Sean Cunningham and say, hey, you gotta give me rights to put this out. I just don't know if you can actually market a game like this because the cards have actor images and stuff. So it might be rights nightmare. I don't know if you have to, pay all these people to use their image in the game. I don't know. So I'm just doing it for me and for friends. Maybe I'll give away as Christmas gifts or something. So, I don't know. Maybe I can give it away in the next edition of this.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Going with my crappy card game. So I don't know if you can see, but the movie is putting my cat to sleep underneath the TV.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So interested. I think I read.
Yeah, all this Jason stuff's good. Got any meow mix? What's up?
Totally. Yeah, Tom McLaughlin said too about the kills because he knew the MPAA would be really hard in the movie. That he wanted them all to be more physical, so that way they weren't as gory, he might be able to get more through. I think that's why a lot of them are like back breaks and head twists and stuff like that. Like they head through the wall of the camper. It was stuff that wasn't just blood, so, which is fine. At least they're original,
Yeah. And now, what's Tom McLaughlin up to these days?
He's touring with his band, the Sloths. You guys know them? So he's totally he's touring, and he said it was his dream since he was a kid, to be in a rock band. He wasn't before, I think, but they're doing pretty well. So his shows are pretty out there. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but he's a full on, he is not reserved. He is showman. Jason comes up. He's done a couple things where Jason showed up at a performance or two for fun. He does fake blood on his chest and does great. So it's fun to see.
It's cool.
I love her suspenders with the sweatpants.
Oh, that's hot. Yeah, that's hot.
This is also the only Friday the 13th movie with no nudity in it. So.
That's right.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, I forgot. I thought the Google Nazis were gonna come down on us real quick.
Oh yeah. Yeah. By the way, I think what I'm doing is illegal right now. I'm not allowed to broadcast the movie over the web. Don't tell anyone.
Well, there's no sound and it's only random, so I don't think.
True. That's cool. I think C.J. Graham talked about how he wanted to give Jason little head twists and animal-like motions. He did do a good job of that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, totally.
That lady is fully clothed.
I know. Even the camera.
Oh, but she told him to wait till the song was over.
Mm-hmm. 10 more minutes. I love the fuzzy dice too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But you guys know the story about her, right, Darcy Demos?
I do not.
She was
Yeah,
cast. She was cast in part 5. This is all in the book. And she claims that Danny Steinman asked her to propositioned her. When she said no, she was fired. But the casting director liked her, so they hired her for this. So she was supposed to play the Debbie Sue Voorhees part in part 5. She was cast as that role. So, casting couch. Yeah. So.
Well, her loss.
Yeah, well, she had to be in this one, so that's good.
She could have spent the night with Danny Steinman, so. But, I mean, we did get Debbie Sue Voorhees in part 5, and I mean, Debbie Sue Voorhees is...
It worked out in the end.
Worked out fine.
It did, yeah.
Everybody was happy.
Except maybe for Danny Steinman, I don't know.
Simon, are we done with the shot yet? No, just keep going, please.
Yeah.
Danny, we've been shooting this scene for 3 days. It's not right yet. It's not right
really
yet.
need water right about now, please.
And wasn't this one produced by one of the producers of the original Halloween as well?
Yeah, a guy named Don Behrens. He actually was assistant on The Fog and Halloween. You can see his name. He wasn't producer. He worked for Deborah Hill, who produced those movies. So yeah, so he was like the producer, always watching the money and fighting with Tom McLaughlin. But that's all producers do that. They want to bring the money into the budget. So.
Didn't they rib him on the set? They put his cooler on top of the RV when it crashes?
Well, they rented or they're going to destroy the camper, so apparently Don Behrens wanted the cooler on top. He's like, okay, let's film this, and then before you destroy it, let me have the cooler. So instead, they left the cooler on and trashed it. That's why they also had all at dailies when the cooler goes flying off the top, everyone was like in hysterics. This is the last shot of the shoot before the reshoots they added. The very last shot was the camper go. That was like the thing. And you can see the cooler too whipping up. It's pretty funny.
Has anybody seen Tom McLaughlin's other film, or the first film he did. The name escapes me at the moment. What was it?
One Dark Night.
Yes. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah, I saw that. Meg Tilly.
Yeah.
I rented it. I rented it a long time ago. I don't really remember much about it though.
Mausoleum or floating. It's a fun bitchy girl character in it.
Did he do much after Friday 6?
We did Date with an Angel, like it's like a romantic comedy, and then he did Sometimes They Come Back, the Stephen King movie.
Oh yeah.
And then he mostly did TV after that. So he did some episodes of Friday the series, but yeah, he mostly worked in TV after. So, but yeah, he's been around. I mean, he's done a ton of stuff and band. So his kids are on film. I know his daughter and son both went to film school and stuff. So, or his daughter's trying to be direction. She did some good stuff. So, see. This is a fun kill.
Yeah, this is a fun kill. Didn't they like shoot that underwater to get that effect?
That's good. Of course, now it'd be CGI or something.
Oh yeah.
I just remember, I think the first time I saw this on the Bare Bones Paramount DVD, I was like around 11 or 12, saw it at a young age, and the part that's coming up here when the RV crashes and he's standing on top and it's on fire, I was like, that's awesome! I was like, this is so cool.
You think at this point Jason would smell so bad people would know that he's right behind him.
You'd think.
There it goes. Here comes the cooler.
Yeah, here comes the
This
cooler.
is where Michael Bay got his inspirations from, boys. Here we go.
It's pretty badass.
That is pretty badass.
There, I got my tool belt, my gloves. I also like the lighting. I thought it was cool. They did a lot of stuff with fog and wind in this one. It was cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's another one that I think this and part 3 are the only ones that don't have a rainstorm in it sequence, if I'm not mistaken. All the other ones, it always rains.
Yeah.
I think.
I think you're right.
I like the red bat phone.
Oh yeah. But we were talking about how they changed the name of the area to Camp Forest Green, and I mean that makes total sense because if this were a real town, I think they probably would have changed the name after the third movie. You know.
Well, you think no one would ever open a camp in this town again, but
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. Camps, summer camps in the 80s, they must have been a hot thing. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I guess part 3 took place down the road from part 2, but
Yeah.
they were at Higgins Haven or something like that. I don't. Chris's family's personal area or whatever on Crystal Lake, I guess. I don't know.
and then they moved to the vacationers to those 2 houses in 4, so he kind of branched out a bit. And then they never really say where Pinehurst Sanitarium is in 5. I'm assuming it's the Crystal. I don't know. That could be anywhere, right? Like they don't say that's.
No, they don't.
Do they? You assume it is. Like, why would they send Tommy back to an insane asylum right by where he grew up and was?
Yeah. All right, who's everybody's favorite Tommy Jarvis? Corey Feldman, Tom Matthews, or John Shepard?
I'll go with Tom Matthews.
Got to go Phil, dog.
Feld dog, okay. What about you, Ort?
Part 5.
Okay, cool. What about you, Mike?
I like the evolution of the character. Just like with Jason, I thought they were appropriate per film. Feld Dog did good in 4. Shepard played a good disturbed Tommy, and he plays a good recovering Tommy. So I think it's a nice arc of actors.
I thought John Shepard did a really good job. He's really intense. He really
Yeah.
Especially since he has so little dialogue, he really sold it. That's the only thing that I guess is different about this one is like in 5 he's almost mute. In this one suddenly he's kind of much more talkative and the character. Maybe I guess he had therapy out of it.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing about this movie is he's going out to put it to rest for good so that he can finally move on. That's his theory anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny though when you think about it. It's basically all his fault. I mean, he resurrects Jason.
Yeah, this movie is.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, way to go, dude.
All the deaths in this film, Tommy.
It's sort of like Sydney in the Scream movies. It's like, stay away from this person. If she comes around, run.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Why would I just want to get to know you better.
Why would this chick still like him when she finds out he's responsible for the death of all of her friends?
And her father.
And her father.
Her father, yeah.
Well, maybe that's in part 7. It's part 7 we never saw.
After he takes out Jason and it's only those two left, and she says, "It's all your fault, asshole," and kills him.
You know what? Maybe he blamed it all on Horsejack. It was all him. I couldn't stop him.
If he was smart, yeah.
That's what I would have done.
I told that crazy bastard it was a bad idea.
They really did a good job, too, I think, of opening up this movie, where a lot of the Friday films, they were so sort of, restricted to the camp or to whatever that location was. They really sort of opened it up, the whole town, and there's a lot of characters in this film, and I think that was a really smart thing, too.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look cheap. It feels... definitely stepped it up.
Exactly. What was the budget like for this one? Was this one about the same as the others?
$3 million is a little bit more, I think.
Okay.
That's the thing. They started kind of cost more and more and make a little less and less. Again, part of it's a right to work. They had to go to Georgia and and that stuff, but still wasn't expensive or anything. The most expensive Paramount was Part 8. That cost a lot.
Yeah.
Went over budget too.
Yeah. Minute Play, my favorite magazine from the 80s.
I love her little little furry footies.
Oh, yeah.
It's a shame most of these stuff was cut, It would have been cool to see the full effects.
Yeah. Now, did the MPAA have a lot of problems with this movie?
Yeah, it went back over 9 times, I think.
Wow.
They were just really hard on it for some reason. Everything was chopped down. Yeah. This is a shame, back then there was no DVD, so they didn't save stuff. We actually found Dan Ferens, who produced the documentary and Never Sleep Again. You guys might know his name. It's great. They did some searching. And they actually found the orders from Paramount to destroy the negative of Part 2 and 3. So, get rid of it. Because people are like, maybe it's hidden, maybe it's in a vault somewhere, but they actually found the records of... Because, the Part 3 alternate ending would be great to see, but...
Yeah, we were actually talking about that sort of thing with... do you know who Michael Felsher is of Red Shirt Pictures? Yeah, we did a show with him a few weeks ago talking about, just that and how... we mentioned how I thought it was you that had gone to the vault and found the destroy kind of order, and because back then nobody was thinking about a special edition DVD, It was
just weird they would destroy negative, but I guess because it's outtakes, they don't keep that stuff. But
yeah,
I think there's video of this right on the DVD. They show poor quality video, or is that Part 7 where they've? Yeah, I think it's 7.
It's 7, yeah.
Yeah. You kind of get to see it at least.
And the only reason they have that for 7 is because Buechler kept it himself. He didn't turn it over to Paramount.
It's videoed out. I always liked her. She was a nice, likable character.
Mm-hmm.
Redhead. She has a good death.
Yeah. All the characters are pretty. I mean, they seem sort of down to earth, likable, real characters, really, or real people, really. In this
the thing about Part 5 is most of the people are so obnoxious. You just want them to die.
Well, and they were almost, almost like caricatures of like, you had like the stuttering guy with the weird hair, and he dressed funny, and then you had, the woman doing the robot dance,
Yeah. And the two greaser guys is very strange.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's just one of the reasons I love that film is it's so wacky. Imagine looking out the window and seeing that image.
Oh my God, scarred for life.
Great car, great sign.
Teenage Frankenstein, is that the song playing?
Oh yes.
Or no, it's the summer one. Hard Rock Summer.
Oh yes, Hard Rock Summer. Yes.
Frankenstein
Was the motorhome kill? Yeah.
Yeah, Teenage Frankenstein was the motorhome kill. Yeah.
I remember these things. Yeah, and this is ambitious for a low budget movie, a car chase and all this stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Find all that, and it's tough to do.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like they could do it with minimal crew, though. They've got like a couple of 3 cars total, maybe 6 actors. You get some crew members out there with some lights and a camera and just shoot that sucker,
I think the one thing that's hard was like lighting all the trees like that. It's difficult to get the good big lights and stuff.
Yep. They probably shot the interior scenes like in a garage with like a light behind the car. They do all kinds of crazy shit in movies to make it affordable.
Yeah. It's like some grip back there holding a flashlight back there behind it.
You can see the sun coming up in some of the shots in the sky. Like I noticed, like they shot some of the right at. Cause only like one night I think to shoot it. There's a couple of shots we see blue sky.
Well, like right there is clearly the morning.
Yeah. Totally.
Well, like that part where the two lovers in the woods having the picnic get killed. When they die, I mean, you can clearly tell the sun's coming up. You know what I mean?
I have a question on some of these shoots for basically any of these Friday the 13th movies. What were some like the most like intense and longest like length shooting days that they had, like that you're aware of?
Yeah, aside from Freddy vs. Jason because that had a much bigger budget and the remake. Part 3 was the longest shoot because of the 3D, so that went over schedule. And Part 8 went over schedule, but I think Part 3 was the longest just because they lost it, but they shot stuff that didn't work, and so I heard that was I think that was the longest. That in Part 8. So
that's probably the same 2 cars because the other cars didn't chase them up there.
Yeah, probably.
No, there they go. Or that could be the 2 cars that were on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny how they do stuff like that.
Speaking of the video game, I actually saw today that they'd released an image of what the Part 2, the Tater Sack Jason, is going to look like in the game, and he looks really freaking cool.
That's going to get a Steam release, isn't it?
I'm not sure where exactly.
Because it's probably going to go to, I would assume, Steam Greenlight, and then people are just going to upvote the hell out of it, and then it'll get released in the store. That's what I think would happen. But who knows?
I certainly hope it's good.
Yeah, I do too.
I got the new Doom game today, and it's really good, so I'm hoping that starts a trend.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. I can't wait to play it.
I thought about renting that actually today from the Red Box.
It's worth a try, man. It's enjoyable.
Excuse me.
Sorry about that.
I've been playing Doom 1 back in the day. Oh, man. On a PC, I don't even know what the specs were. Mid-90s? Yeah.
I don't care what you say. I still love the Friday the 13th NES game. I'll always love that game.
That was impossible.
Yeah. Mrs. Voorhees' floating head, right? Is that the one?
Yeah. You've seen Peter? Have you seen the AVGN video of that when he does it? Angry Video Game Nerd.
No.
Definitely go check it out. But he's playing it, and then at one point he's like, "Oh my god, I can't play this shitty game anymore." And then he points the machete at him, and he's like, "Oh, you gotta play it again." I was like, "No." He's like, "Just kill me now, please, just kill me."
Well, that's back then. You couldn't save the game, right? You couldn't save your progress. I don't think you had to do it the way through.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, if you died, you started all over again.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the good old days.
Yep.
Memory cards were good too. Did it save or did it not save? You had to overwrite it 10 times.
That was back in the days when somebody said, "Hey, how'd you like that game?" Man, the first 5 levels were amazing.
Exactly.
What about the rest of it? I don't know.
Oh, the worst was you were playing, you're all into it, your mom or someone came by and accidentally unplugged something. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Or on purpose.
The best dial-up internet.
My old Commodore 64.
All right, we're having dinner at 6. No one call from 8 to 10, please. Just no one. Yes.
Get off the computer. I need to use the phone.
No.
No.
Those were the days, man.
No cell phones. No second lines.
Yeah.
Oh, my cat's waking up.
I just kind of felt bad for the sheriff guy. He seems like a nice dude.
Yeah.
You know, he's got the daughter. His wife obviously passed away. He's been through some shit. You know, he's cleaning up after the Jason crap, and he's just trying to be normal. And then this crazy kid comes into town, unleashes hell, and gets everybody killed. You know, I just kind of felt bad for the guy. He seemed like a cool guy.
Yeah.
You know, most sheriffs in towns are assholes. You know, but this guy seems like a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
Kind of like in Part 4 when they kill the mom. You're kind of like, really? Wow.
Yeah. He's out there just trying to protect his daughter, and
Although, doesn't she go to college or school? I guess she just lives in this small town with her dad.
you know, it could be one of those between high school and college summers.
True. Or I guess if the mom died, then she'd want to be by her dad for a while. This is fun scene. I like when he does the stuff with Jason stalking and everything.
Oh yeah.
And he doesn't kill any kids.
No.
He doesn't cross that line.
Well, it's interesting because in Halloween they talk about Michael Myers. He doesn't kill kids either, and they say because he's kind of like an arrested child. But in this one, it looks like near the end, Jason's going to kill the kids. Remember, he breaks through the door.
Oh yeah.
You kind of wonder if he actually would kill kids in this. If Jason would. I don't know. He doesn't kill Tommy either. Travis, when he's a kid.
That's true. Yeah.
This is fun.
Now was before Part 6? Was that the first time that they kind of thought about doing a Freddy versus Jason movie, or was that pre-Part 7?
I was pre-Part 7. At least what Tom McLaughlin told me was the first he heard of it was after 6. They said, Jason's kind of going, let's try to invigorate it, but it never got very far. So Frank Mancuso mentioned it, but it never even got to the point where they could even consider doing it because of New Line Pyramid and all that stuff. I think Daryl Haney, the screenwriter of 7, talks about it in the book as well. That originally when he came on board, they really wanted to do that, and it was quickly it's not going to happen. So they came up with that's what he came up with the telekinetic girl. Let's do something.
I don't know what happened. Somebody really dropped the ball because Freddy was on the way down too. I mean, Freddy and Michael and Jason had all kind of.
Well, Freddy was the biggest Nightmare on Elm Street was Part 4, which came out in '88, August '88, and that made almost $50 million. So when they were shooting Part 7, because it came out in '86, it did okay. So when they were preparing Part 7, Freddy was still going up. Freddy didn't crash and burn until '89 with Part 5, and that's when Nightmare 5 and Friday Part 8 both came out back to back in August of '89, and that's when Freddy started going like this. So Freddy was going up all the way through '88. So I think that's a timeline. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it depends on perspective because after 3 for me it's all downhill.
Right.
To me it seemed like a good idea that would have been a good time to bring them together to kind of save both franchises, but
yeah, I think I'm just talking totally in terms of box office. Freddy was still going up, so because that was interesting. Is Nightmare on Elm Street 1, 2, 3, each one made more money than the last one. People don't realize that Nightmare 2 made more money than Nightmare 1.
I think that's the phenomenon of like Metallica with the Black Album.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of fans will tell you Master of Puppets is the best record, but they were more popular with the Black Album.
Yeah.
So it's like when they hit their commercial apex, that's when they were. But by then, the diehards like me had been like, that's not what I like.
Oh, so like when part 2, Nightmare 2, I'm like, this sucks, you know, like, but I did, I didn't like Dream was okay. It's actually not my favorite. It was very, but again, Freddie was out on MTV. He had the Dokken video, and then he was he did the Freddie guest VJ night. So he was, becoming a big pop culture thing at the time. So yeah, Freddie did Jason kind of did seem a little.
I guess my only problem with Nightmare 4 was that, of course, they didn't bring back the original Kristen.
Yeah.
But that's a negotiation thing. I understand that. But then kind of the disrespect that they paid to the cast members that they did bring back.
Yeah.
And they were pretty much killed off immediately for a new group of kids, and it just seemed kind of weird.
Yeah.
I guess it's a tradition, like Adrian King killed off in part 2, and they're going to kill off, Reggie and Melanie Kinnaman in this one. And I'm surprised they never brought back Tina, but.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Piz. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Oh, no. Thank you.
What is your favorite Nightmare sequel, Peter?
A sequel?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get killed for this, but I actually like Dream Master. Like it's very commercial. I don't know, but I think it's Rennie Harlan's best movie. Well, one of his best. I don't know. Hard because when I saw Dream Wars, I was disappointed. I think because I saw the first Nightmare on Elm Street, it was dark and scary, and Freddy was scary, and then he became so comical. Like I was kind of like, I don't know. I wanted it to be scary so bad that I was angry that it was commercial. Now I can appreciate Dream Warriors, but maybe by part 4 I was like, it's an MTV thing. I just had fun.
Yeah.
You said Dream Warriors came out around the same time. Actually, this came out first, but then it came out shortly afterward. Well, they have a similar feel. It seemed to be something about that year, that time. That was just kind of like the flavor of what things were. They're very similar as far as with the comedy and the.
They were becoming more commercial MTV and heavy metal. Part of it too, I liked heavy metal, but it was weird that they felt like heavy metal and horror had to go together. Like, remember Trick or Treat came out?
I love that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, but it was interesting. There was this merging. Suddenly, everything had to be heavy metal. It was interesting.
Because it was funny because I was a horror kid and a heavy metal kid, so that was my world. So I kind of saw it as a natural thing. Mm-hmm. I liked both. Both went, it's like Reese's peanut butter cup. They're both two great taste great together.
It's three things that always go together no matter where I look on the internet. It's professional wrestling, horror, and metal.
Yeah.
It's just like, and maybe throw a little Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat in there too. And it's like,
I guess for me, I got that, but at the same time, I still like things like Poltergeist or you couldn't see heavy metal. I still like horror movies that didn't have anything to do with that aesthetic. So it seemed like they were kind of mushing it all together. But
it did seem forced after a while. It was kind of like, this is what they like, so let's give it to them ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's true of anything.
The key word there that you guys said was MTV. It's 1986. MTV had taken over. And what eventually happened was that instead, the video directors of that era were taking cues from film, where in the 90s, it was a total different thing. The filmmakers were taking cues from the music videos. So everything had to be cut a million ways from Sunday, had to have a blaring soundtrack. It's just totally visual, nothing else really.
Since we all love these films, you guys ever switch it up on them? Like you'll be wearing, a Friday the 13th shirt and got a little stereotypes. They'll be like, you must love Metallica. And I'm like, no, actually, I really like Pavarotti. How you doing?
Yeah. Well, when I wear my Friday the 13th shirts, people are like, so you worship Satan today, and how many children did you sacrifice to the Dark Lord? And I'm like, well, it's early. I've only done one so far, but,
That was big in the 80s. I mean, the people were generally afraid. I think it waned a little bit, but early 80s, parents groups were scared about these movies. That was a serious thing. We all know what happened with, the Memphis 3 and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It was real. People really thought, it's going to damage your mind.
I think that kind of, you had the parents groups that were afraid of, the satanic panic in music, and it was the same thing about films, and maybe that's why they kind of got pushed together, because they were both on the radar of people that hated stuff.
Yeah.
You had the PMRC going on, and you had Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert and those guys giving out like personal addresses for filmmakers that were making these kind of movies, and it was just like an all-out assault on anything that they deemed inappropriate.
Yeah.
Well,
But they were like really afraid. They were like, because mine was weird growing because I'm like, I don't know, like it's just fun horror movie stuff. Like, I don't know where that panic came from. But,
yeah.
sorry.
Well, even today, in a way, I mean, there's people who they just don't get horror, and when they find out that you like horror, in my experience, it's like they sort of look at you as if you're in the zoo, like you're an animal in the zoo. They're kind of, they're, you know, they're fascinated by you, but they want there to be a barrier there. You know what I mean?
I thought this film had a very self-aware joke in it when he looks at the camera and says, "Some folks have a strange idea of entertainment." I thought that was kind of like this movie, letting people that don't watch these movies know, yeah, we know you think we're weird, but we don't really care. We're having fun.
Yeah. I think this is around the era when it became less dangerous. So like this was totally a teen. This was engineered to be a summer movie for teens with Alice Cooper. MTV. It was definitely made to be that. It wasn't like hardcore or Leatherface or anything like that.
Yeah, I actually had that experience just the other day where it was like, "Oh, you like horror movies?" Oh, and it was like, what's your favorite one? Oh, I've never seen that one. Then she's like, the last horror movie I saw was, I don't even remember what the last horror movie I saw was Ouija. It freaked me out.
This kid once, he said the scariest movie he ever saw was the Fog remake, and I was just like, I don't know what to say.
Whoa!
He's only seen probably like 3 or 4 movies, so what are you going to do?
Well, no, that pizz out, but you're a pretty intimidating person, and because even the original Leatherface said you'd make a good Leatherface. So, you see somebody like you, and then you say, I watch movies about mass murder. They're going to look at you like, oh, okay. See you later, man. But today I went into GameStop to pick up Doom, and the manager finally says, "Man, every time you come in here, you remind me of Derek Mears."
Oh, my God.
That was hilarious. I get Bruce Willis, I get Phil Anselmo, and now I got Derek Mears, so that's cool. Well, he's a little bit bigger than me, I think. He's like quite a bit.
The greatest moment of my life, Peter, was meeting Gunnar Hansen, he told me, he goes, "God, you'd make a great Leatherface." That was the greatest moment of my life.
What's weird?
I remember playing World of Warcraft like 10 years ago, and I gotta say the story. You can bash on me if you want, but I was like, "Hey, so who's your favorite slasher icon?" He's like, "Yeah, I like Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street, pretty awesome films." And then I was like, "What's your favorite, franchise of movies?" And he's like, "Saw." And then like my soul just died a little bit right there. I was like, "No, please no."
What's weird to me is like all the uproar about these movies, and like today, like. Even CSI and these crime shows are like they're lurid with murder and rape and and it's weird, like they're popular with older people, like CBS is like the biggest network, they all love, and CSI, it's like weird.
There's more gore in a TV show than there is in these films, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Well, I mean, I think that shows where, I mean, again, this movie came out 30 years ago, and so much of it was cut 3 ways from Sunday, so I mean, this movie today would be PG-13. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we kind of have to thank these films for pushing the envelope to allow this to happen. Because without them, rubbing people the wrong way and pushing progress forward, we wouldn't have what we have.
Yeah.
Well, they say one of the things that happens is that the generation, this is, oh my God, terrifying, scary, it's going to warp your brain, and then 20 years later, when they realize none of us turned out to be crazy, that's when they're like, oh, okay, it's okay now. Like it's nostalgic and that's what moves the needle, is when you realize, okay, it's not going to warp anyone's brain.
I read that they did a study that the happiest people are the people from the 80s that liked heavy metal and horror films. They're supposedly the most well-adjusted adults that are currently in society. I think that's hilarious because we were supposed to be the fuck-ups. We were the psychos, but now we're the most well-adjusted, so I think that's hilarious. We got our revenge.
Well, I did a convention once early on with one of the friends. She's like, oh, everyone's so gentle. Like, they weren't expecting horror fans to be nice and cuddly, you know.
Mosh pits everywhere.
Well, you didn't get your free punch in the face when you walked in the door? Well, here, let me give you a complimentary extra one.
Totally.
What you think? People crack me up.
Maybe you could hand out some Axe body spray at the door, but other than that, you know.
Well,
They definitely should have some shower stalls at those events.
Any kind of convention or any gaming tournament, it's just like X everywhere.
The scariest thing about any convention I've ever been to is the body odor. That's the scariest thing about it.
I never noticed the green gray matter coming out of his nose.
Yeah, man.
That was weird. It's cool.
It's HD, baby. And like this backbreaking scene coming up, it was so sort of simply done, but so effective.
Brutally
Like,
effective.
yeah, brutally effective. I mean, the sound effect of, I can't even get my fingers to crack, but yeah.
I thought it was good dramatic effect because his daughter's there, he's there, and he gets killed and she doesn't know, and I thought it was nice. You kind of felt bad about the guy. I did anyway.
One of the hard things too about these movies, after a while, they've killed people so many different ways that something like this that's physical, like ooh, it still gives you a. Because after a while, you see so many stabbings, you're like, whatever.
Exactly.
I would have started running already.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think after he just kind of brushed off that first shotgun blast, I'd been like, I'm out.
I had an added thing to help me be weird in high school. I love these films and I love Tom Savini's work, and I was just fascinated with makeup effects. But I had the artistic ability of a tree, I guess. I can't draw or make anything out of clay. I'm like an artistic idiot. But I would try to draw these death sequences because I was fascinated. So I'd try to design these different ways to kill people in horror films, and I would sketch them out on paper in class. People look over my shoulder and like, oh, shit. Yeah, don't piss this guy off.
If you did that today, you'd be in a padded cell.
Yes, I would.
Recreating Friday the 13th with stick figures. Die.
I tried to put a little more detail into that than I could. It wasn't great, but it was the best I could do. And people don't understand the artistic talent that it takes to do this kind of stuff. I mean, painting, sketching, clay.
Yeah, those special makeup effects guys, I mean, they are artists. There's no doubt about it. They are artists.
So what do you think of the idea of returning Jason to his original resting place and all that? I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool idea too. Yeah, again, a throwback to that kind of gothic horror feel. That was a really great idea.
Made him, had to be a crystal lake stuff, so it gave him reason not to run away and leave.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since they kind of went with the supernatural element of him being, a zombie type thing, I mean, they had to come up with some kind of a way to put him to rest, like they tried to do with Freddy in Part 3.
And actually, this for me. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say it's just another parallel between the two.
Yeah, it's cool. Also, because I feel like a lot of the sequels, of horror sequels, they start adding so much mythology and backstory. It's a really fine line to where it gets goofy. But this is a good way to sort of expand the backstory without getting into daggers and druids and crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Some people had a problem with some of the backstory in Part 3 of Nightmare, but I didn't. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Bastard son of 100 maniacs. Isn't it?
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
But for me, just personal opinion, Jason Goes to Hell. It goes a little too much for me with the daggers and the family and just all this. It's
the vagina invading Jason worm. Yeah. That's definitely my least favorite of the series.
Well, we'll be.
Violates his own sister so that he can be reborn. Okay, who wrote that? But what's it, Clayton Duke? Oh my God, best thing about the film. I can watch it just for him.
Yeah, some of that dialogue, I still don't know what that means. I guess in what you're doing this.
Your girl ain't got a taste of the Duke yet. Yeah, and I mean, you feel for this dude because I mean, he's fighting for his daughter, and I mean,
Yeah,
he's a
Jason's
nice
heading for his
guy.
daughter, and he's like hiding. He knows he's gonna die, but he sacrifices himself.
He goes out fighting, though, you know. This is such a great kill. Oh, and that sound! Oh my God, that sound!
I think everyone can relate. It's like, oh my God, can you imagine that? Like, oh boy, that would be a bad.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, here he comes. Now he's going to attack the kids. I
Well,
think.
actually, in reality, it would be much worse than that. But because there would be a period of time before you actually passed that would be quite excruciating.
I think too, you'd be paralyzed. Your back, once it snapped, you'd be paralyzed. So I think you'd be alive for a while, but not able to. I think.
This guy has a boulder that weighs like 2 tons in this
In a little boat.
canoe.
Well, see, Jason looks pissed now. He's like stomping. He's like, screw these kids. They're all going down.
See, that's you kill these kids if you had
The shark coming in for the kill.
I still think it's nothing like too insane, but I still think the kill at the end of this movie, how they supposedly kill them all, is pretty cool. Even all films considered. Yeah.
Did they try to keep Jason away from the kids before that scene, Peter? Are you aware of anything like that?
Remember he? Oh, you mean in terms of behind the scenes? I don't know. I don't think I asked that question.
I don't know. There might have been some psychologists on set to be like, no, you get them used to him before you introduce him. You're gonna scar him for life.
Or just set up the scene and be like, okay, kids. So in a minute, Megan's gonna walk in. So just get ready to say hello. And then Jason bursts in.
That'd be awesome, man. I know the little girl Nancy, the blonde-haired one. She did get to meet CJ first for the scenes and stuff, but she had more to do.
Yeah.
You might not even been there. They could have shot that without. I don't think they ever show the kids and him in the same shot.
That's true. Yeah, they may have, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Hey, maggot face! Hey!
He definitely moves with a purpose.
He does.
I like the way he just spins in the water. It's awesome.
And this is really cool how they set this up too. He's on the boat, and it's not just enough to have the boat with the rock and the chain. They got to put a ring of fire around it. You know.
The ring of fire is perfectly around the boat too.
Exactly. Yes.
I liked how I forgot which special edition it was, but they had like they talked about doing this underwater scene and how it was the guy who played Jason in this film.
CJ Graham.
Yeah, and how he was like, wasn't he ex-military as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just like holding your breath for that long, etc.
Wasn't a bunch of this like particularly the underwater stuff shot in like Tom McLaughlin's pool at home?
His father's pool, yeah. The stuff with rubbing the face with the what's it called? The motor. Sorry.
Yeah.
And not this, but only the underwater stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he puts the gasoline. The boat never moves. It's perfectly, moored with the fire. I love it. As a kid, I never noticed, but so I'm like, hey.
He gets gas all over the boat.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect ring.
They always run those stupid matches in a windy environment.
Yeah.
This time it actually worked.
This is the money shot. Big budget. Here we go, boys.
So what do you guys think of the idea of just sort of chaining Jason at the end and he just sort of opens his eye and that's like it? Like part of me wanted a little bigger, but...
I think by then we were used to sequel bait. We kind of knew he wasn't going to die. It was just kind of like, oh, this is how they ended this film. What are they going to do next time?
Yeah, for me at a young age, I was like, okay, yeah, so that's how he died. All right, this is what I'm running next week if they have it in stock.
So did you want like a bigger, flashier kind of finale, Peter?
Well, I thought maybe just like a longer one. Like I like the longer chases in like 3 and 4. They run from house to house. It kind of felt like, again, it's only 87 minutes. It's kind of like, okay, that's it. Cool.
I don't know what it is, but 2, 3, and 4, the end chasings to those movies, I can't get enough of them. Whenever I watch them, and I pop one of those in every now and then, I'm just like, I don't know, it's epic.
I compare everything to those. Yeah.
I watched the first one last night, and even it had kind of a longer, extended chase scene where she hid in a closet, and although there were several times she could have ended it without chopping her head off, but that's a movie for you.
They always drop the weapon for some reason.
When you knocked her in the head with the pan and she fell down, you keep beating her until she doesn't move anymore.
There you go.
End of movie.
Yep. Especially if she's old.
Have you guys watched any other Friday the 13th films today?
Nope.
I'm saving up for tonight. Part 2 screening. So.
Awesome.
I was going to try and watch 1 and 2 yesterday, but I only had time for 1.
Well, since we've given so much love to Jason Goes to Hell, I might pop that in next. I don't know. Peter, you up for a Jason Goes to Hell back-to-back commentary?
Oh my God, I have not seen that movie in 10 years. Yeah, that's not when I really pull out. That and Jason X.
It's just as good as you remember.
Yeah.
Now, if you watch the extended unrated cut, it does have a nice kill at the beginning that kind of improves it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's just so stupid that now I can sit back and just watch it and enjoy its stupidity.
Yeah.
There's certain characters like Creighton Duke I've come to enjoy. The lady that works at the diner.
Oh yeah, Joey.
There's little characters in there that I really enjoy, so I can watch it. It's not too painful, but definitely not good.
Yeah, I think the one I've seen the least is Jason X for sure. Personally, watch that the least.
I like Jason X.
I don't like either one of those.
I prefer Leprechaun in Space.
That was just the thinking of the time. Although I think it wasn't. The original script wasn't actually represented on screen. It was supposed to be more of an alien type thing, a little more serious and dark.
Yeah.
So I think about it, like it can't be that deep of a lake, right? Because if he's chained up and the motor's right by his head, he's got to be like right at the bottom surface, right?
Yeah, was it about 8 feet, 9 feet deep, maybe?
Yeah. Maybe it's just a really long chain.
You wonder what happens when like the tide's lower, his head pop out of the top.
Oh, when his neck snaps.
Mom, what's that? Oh my God!
Oh.
Love it. Practical much?
Is he killed?
He's dead.
Know.
Hope we don't have any.
Until the psychic chick wakes him up, he's dead.
Yeah, hope we don't have any psychics coming in here.
Right,
What's the time frame from the end of this movie to the beginning of 7? Because I mean, it's many years, isn't it?
Yeah, because she's a little girl when he's in the lake. Remember, she goes at the beginning of the prologue. She goes out in the lake, and her dad dies, and then so it's got to be 10 some years later.
Is it like pyrokinesis? Is that what you call that?
Yeah.
You gotta trust me on this one. You got psychic powers. You can go down to the lake, have a great time.
She killed her dad.
Yeah. I didn't think telekinesis meant you could resurrect dead bodies, but I guess it's all.
Well, and Jason. Yeah.
Well, that means Jason was down there for a pretty long while.
Because she went to the spot where she killed her father, and was sad about killing him, and somehow that woke Jason up.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go with that. Sure.
Remember, she looked down. I think she's like, "That's my dad." So she tries to make him come alive because for some reason she thinks her dad's still.
But just imagine what they could have done if, like, the original ending had been there and Jason's father showed up. Was there any inclination in the book or in the script as to, is Jason's father good, evil? Is he, was there any kind of
implications that he's not a nice guy. I mean, his appearance, and then he's been paying the care to take care of his son. I mean, it certainly sets up that he's.
It's not another Thorn cult, is it?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, maybe.
Well, see, I thought maybe like he could be the what Dr. Loomis is to Michael Myers. You know?
Oh, yeah. Hunting him down. Well, because it doesn't really. I mean, why would you have a movie Jason Lives, bring Jason back, just to not have him to kill him again at the end, have his dad take? Some people are like, oh, his dad's going to be the killer in the next one, but that didn't work for the imposter, so it didn't seem like that would be the direction you'd go in.
Yeah. Oh, that just concluded Jason Lives, Friday the 13th, Part 6, our 30th anniversary.
Wow.
Commentary for the movie. It seemed like it just started, and now it's over. A very quick 87 minutes.
Yep.
A very quick 87 minutes. Where do you guys think Friday the 13th Part 6 stands in the pantheon of Friday the 13th films? What do you think? What do you think, Peter?
I mean, I think it's regarded as one of the better ones. I think like it has a small set of fans that like it's their favorite up there. They like the comedy. I think some of the hardcore fans maybe don't like it as funny, but I think everyone recognizes that's a well-made entry in the series. You know what I mean? Even if it's not your cup of tea, the humor. I think no one says, "Oh, that movie was badly made," or "That really sucks." Like everyone, I think appreciates what Tom McLaughlin was trying to do with it. I don't know what you guys think.
What were you going to say, Mike?
I don't remember. Go ahead and go with somebody else. I'm trying to remember. That's probably why I talk over everybody, so I don't forget everything. Terrible about this.
Where Part 6 stands in the pantheon of Friday the 13th.
All right, that's a good refresher. I like them the first 4 in order: 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 6, and then 5, and then probably Jason X. Then the rest.
Okay.
With the worst being Goes to Hell.
Okay. What about you, Stingray?
Are we talking about our least favorite?
No, where Friday 6 stands in the pantheon of Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not one of my favorites, but I don't know. It's better.
Like that soundtrack? Come on.
Better than Jason Goes to Hell, that's for sure.
What about you, Orc? Do you still have that?
Yeah, I only have so much space, you know. I'll quote another famous YouTuber. Yeah, there. Yeah, so much space for posters. But I like 1 through 4. You could maybe include 5, but 5 and 6 are interchangeable for what I like more, and then 7 and 8 are pretty much the same, and then the rest are just classic movies. I love to enjoy.
Although I did enjoy the remake, and I might actually put that up there, after 6, before Jason X. I don't know. I kind of like the remake.
Even Freddy vs. Jason, people may not like it as much, but it's just cool to see them both on the screen. I don't know.
It's okay, but it took a lot of wrong
In
turns.
theory, it's good, but no.
Yeah.
That director, what a hack.
Since we mentioned wrestling earlier, I'm going to use a wrestling term here. I think Part 6 is upper mid card.
Upper mid card.
It's upper mid card. It's not my favorite. It's not my least favorite. It's a little bit better than middling. But I mean, it's a solid film. It's a solid movie. All the the budget's right there on the screen. It looks great. Nice action sequences. I like the gothic elements. Like the cast. Great cast in the film. Yeah.
I enjoyed C.J. Graham as Jason. I mean,
absolutely.
I liked it.
Absolutely.
Like, people may disagree, but I just want more of the films and the franchises that I like, and enough well, we might do it if there's a budget. Just make it, please. Like, I want to see another one. Like, even if it's not the greatest movie, just give me another Friday the 13th with a good writer.
They're overthinking the shit out of it. Like
They are.
It's like a movie like Hardcore Henry was shot with GoPros.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make a movie for not very much money if you just have a creative team and a good idea.
Just make the movie. Don't spend too much money on it. It's not brain surgery.
Friday the 13th's always been about unknown actors, and just a generic location. Go. I mean, you don't need a lot of money for that.
Yeah. Let's go out to Sausage Factory Nation and see what's going on out there. Lucky Grub messaged us on Facebook. He wants to know if we've watched any other films today, which we already talked about that. He says his favorite Tommy Jarvis is Corey Feldman. And he's ready for us to go right into a Part 7
Let's
commentary.
do it right now. You heard it here first.
That one, brother. You gotta wait for that one, brother. Gotta wait for that one. Let's see what's going on over in the live chat. Yeah, we've had a lively live chat tonight. We've got some love for Richard Brooker from Horror Reel. Says it's his second favorite Jason is Richard Brooker. Cool. Let's see what else we got. Toxic Shock's watching with us tonight. He says his favorite is Part 3. Cool. What else have we got? Doodle Bunny's hanging out in the live chat with us. He says, is it just me, or does Peter look like Sean Cunningham?
Interesting. Never got that.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't see a resemblance, but you know.
I wish I had a smile.
Toxic Shock mentions the Jason headstone from the film. Doesn't Tom McLaughlin have that headstone in like his yard?
Yep, backyard. And the coffin too he has at home.
Oh, wow.
Oh, awesome.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah, we've had a lively live chat tonight. I want to thank everybody for hanging out in the live chat with us tonight. Doodle Buddy, me for F13, Friday 81, Toxic Shock Horror Reel. Let's go to Twitter, see what's going on there. Trump will win 2016 tweets at us. He says, thanks for putting this on tonight, Sausage Factory. It was fun. Well, thank you for watching. We appreciate it.
The deals we will make. Deals.
Bradley Taylor says, I lost it. Hold on. Bradley Taylor wants to thank Peter for joining us tonight for this Part 6 commentary. So,
Thanks for having me.
Trump will win 2016 also tweeted us a picture of Peter side by side with Sean Cunningham, and I don't see the resemblance, but hey, you know, okay, I'll have to send you this picture, Peter.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
You're gonna make Google Hangouts great again.
Joseph Perdue tweets at us. He wants to know, Peter, did you ever meet Alice Cooper? And if so, how's he in person?
No, I've never met Alice Cooper. We did an interview with him for the documentary. So the crew got to meet him, but I was not there that day. So I heard he was really cool. So he showed up and did an on-camera interview, which was awesome. Yeah, I did.
That guy is really smart. He has a good radio show, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ricky C tweets at us. He says he's ready for the live commentary. Hope you enjoyed it, Ricky. The Wayne Gale Variety Hour watched with us tonight. How are you doing, buddy? Thanks for hanging out with us. Joseph Perdue wants to know if you have any funny Corey Feldman stories, Peter.
You mean like real life in person? Or
I assume, yeah.
Yeah, well, boy, I don't know what I can say.
Nobody's
No shortage of stories then, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I remember we did we shot the documentary. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was the opening and closing where Corey narrates about a campfire. I'm actually I'm a horrible actor. I'm one of the counselors. I'm supposed to be scared. I just look petrified. But there was a lot of, he didn't want to do the lines as written. Well, first he brought like two of his Corey's Angels, the girls, that.
Oh, yeah.
He brought them, so they showed up. But he didn't want to do, I should not say this, but he didn't want to do his lines as written, so like the director had all these cool camera moves to go with his dialogue, and they were making it up, and then like kept calling it Camp Crystal Blood, so we had to do it like 6 times, and he couldn't remember Camp Crystal Lake, so it was Camp Crystal Blood. But he did a good job for us, so that's yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome. Let's see what's going on in the comment section of the video. John Avenger's watching with us tonight. How you doing, buddy? He says, welcome back, Sausage Factory crew. Happy Friday the 13th to all of you. This is my favorite entry in this series and the first one I ever saw. Draven G says, I'm still confused why Jason has a utility belt in this. Does he have smoke bombs, he wants to know. Probably.
Well, the way they went with the James Bond opening, maybe that was an homage.
They should have smoke bombs, maybe a Leatherman.
That'll be Naruto Part 2. There you go.
There you go. NT Phantom says, this was always a favorite, but recently the lack of hardcore violence in TNA has made me reconsider. Some of the hottest girls and not even bras and panties. Still a fun film, but not as good as most of the Paramount 8s.
I concur with that.
The soundtrack for this movie is awesome. I agree, John Avenger. Steak Sauce says, I hate Freddy versus Jason. Okay.
Ronnie, you would disapprove?
Yeah.
The Horror Real Wishes is a happy Friday the 13th. Right back at you, buddy. And Steak Sauce says, Jennifer Cook is a complete delight.
Damn.
Yep.
All right, guys. We are going to play some Friday the 13th trivia. Girth McKillicuddy just tweeted at us. He said, riveting commentary. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate it. So, oh my God, somebody just tweeted a picture of Corey Feldman to us. I won't share it.
Tipper Gore
Must have been a good one.
I believe Tipper Gore has some tweets for us.
Tipper Gore. All right, guys, let's play some Friday the 13th Part 6 trivia so that you at home can win an awesome shirt just like this, courtesy of the fine folks over at T-Shirt Bordello. And just a reminder, all of T-Shirt Bordello's Friday the 13th shirts today only are $12 a piece. Follow the link in the description. Go check them out. They've got an awesome selection of shirts in general. But if you want to win a shirt just like this, or a handcrafted Friday the 13th Part 6 hockey mask just like this one, courtesy of my buddy Doug over at Drown Boy Productions, get ready. We're doing this through Twitter. Make sure you're following us on Twitter. If you're not following us on Twitter, at TSF Nation, the link is in the video description. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to go over, get all that set up.
And with that, we bring in our special guest, Alex Trebek.
All right, guys. So first up, let's give away this awesome shirt. Not this one I'm actually wearing, but one just like it, courtesy of T-Shirt Bordello. And Peter has got a trivia question for us. What is the question?
Oh, I gotta read it? Am I supposed to read it? Oh.
Yes, please.
I'm sorry, let me look it up here. I'm not ready.
That'll give everybody time to get ready to get on Twitter, and there you go.
So I can't remember which. Wait, it's the last two, right?
The last two. Yes.
Okay. All right. First one. Everyone ready? Everyone ready? All right. Writer-director Tom McLaughlin originally gave Jason Lives a different subtitle, which Paramount subsequently rejected as being in poor taste. What was the original subtitle of the film? So it wasn't Jason Lives.
Okay, guys, tweet that. The first person to tweet the correct answer to us at TSF Nation will win this shirt. Again, the question is, Jason Lives was not the original subtitle for Friday the 13th Part 6. There was a completely different subtitle. What was it? Tweet at us. The first one to get it right wins the shirt.
And no, it wasn't. And it wasn't Jason Does Your Mama.
Maybe. No.
So far, no one's even ventured. Okay, we've got one so far. Hold on, let's see.
It's in the book, so someone read the book.
Phil, you're close, but no cigar.
I read the book like 2 years ago, and I can barely remember what happened 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I can't remember either.
Damn.
Phil, you are very, very close, but not quite there.
There was two variations, so I don't know what this person said. It might be technically correct.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. The second one was his guess, or his answer.
Wait, which one was that? Oh, in here?
Jason Rises.
No, that's not it. But,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
Close.
Close. I mean,
Close.
yeah.
I'd like to phone a friend.
All right, guys, come on.
Wrong. What the fuck?
That's your final answer?
Come on, guys. His shirt is on the
Free
line.
swig.
The original subtitle for Friday the 13th Part 6 was not Jason Lives. It was another variation. What was it? And you will win this shirt. All right, let's see. Someone named Jason tweets at us. He says, Jason, get her done? No. Close. Very
He does
close.
get her done, but...
Yeah.
He gets her done. Oh, come on, people. Come on, I know you guys can do this.
So is everyone else able to see what you typed in there, Justin?
No. No,
Just us.
just us in the party. Just us.
I think we should give it to him. I think I should only do one.
Jason Rises is close, but no cigar. Hold on, we got two more. Just came in. Oh, Trump will win 2016.
That's not it. That's not it.
Tweets at us. Jason has risen. Is that the answer,
Yes,
Peter?
that is it. That is it.
Congratulations.
Trump wins
The shirt is made in Mexico.
That name has magic powers, apparently.
All right, congratulations. Trump will win 2016. Jason Has Risen was the original subtitle for Friday the 13th Part 6. I'll get with you. I'll send you a message. Just go ahead and direct message me your mailing info and what size you want, and I'll get you that shirt out ASAP. So congratulations. Trump will win 2016.
I think it's fairly obvious why it might have been controversial at the time with the biblical implications.
Yeah. And they also came up with Jason's Last Rites, but they rejected that, so he ended up going Jason Lives.
There's no real reason to go biblical with this series.
Yeah.
I don't really even. I mean, yeah.
I wouldn't have been offended by it. I don't understand what people were touching.
Well, I think with all the parents groups, maybe they were just worried it would, Catholic League and all that stuff.
They were
That's true.
really trying not to ruffle any feathers with this movie, weren't they? At all.
There you go. There you go. All right.
All right, I'm worried about the second question. That one was tough for people. All right, well, here we go. All right.
But the second question is for
The Mask.
this awesome mask, Friday Part 6 mask. Now, Trump will win 2016 in the to be fair, since you won the shirt, we're going to you are ineligible to win the mask, but just to keep things fair. So for this awesome handmade Friday the 13th Part 6 hockey mask, complete with bullet hole, answer this question. What question you got for us, Peter?
All right. In 1985, longtime Friday the 13th producer Frank Mancuso Jr. directed a 15-minute pilot for what would become Friday the 13th, the series. The pilot, though never aired, starred a prominent cast member from Jason Lives. Who was that cast member? So again, this was like one of those pilots they create to get network excited. So it's like a 15-minute short promoting the series, which of course had nothing to do with Jason. It was never aired. It was showed at like Show West or one of those industry things, but it was never aired. But it starred a cast member from Part 6. Who could that be?
Very good question. And these are, if you're running to IMDb, the trivia section for Part 6, they're not there. They are not there. So
it's only in the ebook version of my book. So even I didn't notice my writing the book, so it came to light later.
Does it have anything to do with haunted antiques?
Where I was told, I've never seen it. It's not. I don't think you can find it anywhere. It took place like outside, and it was a cemetery or something. The cast member in question told me a little bit about it, but it'd be interesting to see. And also, if you guys know that Frank Mancuso Jr. directed the teaser for Jason Lives, you know, where the headstone blows up. Have you guys ever seen that?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He directed that too. So.
Oh, cool. Did not know that. I'll repeat. I'll repeat the question. In 1985, longtime Friday the 13th producer Frank Mancuso Jr. directed a 15-minute pilot for what would become Friday the 13th, the series. The pilot, though it never aired, starred a prominent cast member from Jason Lives Friday the 13th Part 6. Who was that cast member? We've got 4 tweets just came in. Hold on. Was it Jennifer Cook?
No, it was not. I'm sorry.
Was it Tom Matthews?
No, it was not.
Somebody tweeted, was it C.J. Graham?
No, it was not.
Okay. Tony Larder tweeted at us, Travolta's nephew. Okay. Who is Travolta's nephew?
Well, okay, that is. Oh boy, I don't know what to do. Do we have to take the exact name?
We have to have a name. We have to have a name.
Okay, well, that's not the name of the person.
That's not the name.
That's a good description.
Was it Carrie Noonan?
No.
Was it the Graveyard Keeper?
No.
Oh, shit.
We need the exact name of the actor or actress. So.
Yes.
So
was it David Kagan?
No.
Okay. We've got a lot of people tweeting at us, but no one's got it yet.
I just Googled Travolta's nephew and it popped up immediately. So
Yeah.
I just want to try that. It should work for you. Like seriously, it's like immediately popped up.
The actor is actually John Travolta's nephew. So.
There's a picture of him.
That's funny. That explains a lot.
Okay, we've got 3 more tweets just came in. Let's see. Girth.
I'm sorry.
Girth, put them together, Girth. Put them together and tweet at us real quick, Girth. Hurry. You've almost got it. Hurry. Ricky C. wants to know, was it Ron Palillo?
No. He was on Welcome Back, Connor, though.
He was with Travolta on a show, but he's not related.
Hold on.
Up your nose with rubber hose.
We got 7 tweets just came in real quickly. Hold on. Let me go back. R.G. Armstrong? Chris Wiggins?
No, not Chris Wiggins.
Oh my gosh.
He wasn't in Jason Lives.
Constantine Furman tweets at us. Was it Tom Fridley?
Yes, it was. Woo! Yes, that's it.
Girth, you were so close. Girth McGillicuddy tweeted at us. Was it Tom Frisked?
Oh.
No. And then he tweeted right after that just Fridley. I was like, put them together, Girth. Put them together.
Oh.
You were so close, Girth.
I still wanted to give it to John Travolta's nephew, though. That was good.
All right, so Constantine Furman, congratulations. You have just won this Friday the 13th, Part 6 hockey mask, courtesy of Drowned Boy Productions. Girth, I tell you what, man, you were so close. I'm going to send you one of these shirts regardless, just for being close. So I'm going to send you one of these shirts. I paid for out of my own pocket because you were pretty close, and I want you to get something. So
You got this.
But again, Constantine, direct message me your contact information, and I'll get the mask out in the mail to you very soon. Girth, same thing. Direct message me on here, send me your contact information and what size shirt you want, and I'll get you a shirt out in the mail soon.
I think I might change my name to Sean Cunningham's nephew.
Peter Cunningham.
That's right.
I bet you're 1.5 feet taller than Sean Cunningham.
I think I might.
Oh man, what a fun night, guys! What a fun night. Any closing thoughts on Jason Lives, Friday the 13th, Part 6.
I give it credit for continuing the series. You know, I mean, after Part 5, it could have totally just gone away. So, you know, whatever you think of the film, it did keep things going. And
I kind of felt it brought it back, kind of pulled it back to where it was kind of supposed to be, or at least close. It was entertaining. It was it was light on nudity and gore and whatever, but it was still fun. It was a fun film.
I really think that's what hurt it. I mean, for me, like it's not as memorable because it lacks, you know, those things.
Well, for me, yeah, I enjoy, you know, nudity and violence like any other guy, right? But as long as the film is entertaining, if it lacks those elements, I can still enjoy it.
Sure.
There you go. And everybody out there who's saying, do Part 7, next year. Next year. We'll do it next year, I promise. The 30th anniversary Part 7 commentary, we'll do it next year.
Well, actually, it's not next year because it came
out.
Oh,
you're right. You're right.
So it's
2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mark your calendars, folks.
2 years.
Wow. Maybe we'll go back in time since we didn't do a. I don't know. Maybe we'll do.
35th anniversary of Part 3 is next year. You could do that.
Hey, let's do that.
That sounds good to me.
I'm down with that. Maybe
that
January 13th, right?
That sounds good to me.
That's a good time.
That's a great time. All right, so big thanks to everybody who watched along with us tonight. Thanks so much to everybody who left comments and questions for us and participated in the contest and enjoyed spending Friday the 13th with the Sausage Factory and the great Peter Bracke. If you guys have not bought this book, Crystal Lake Memories: The Complete History of Friday the 13th, do so. The ebook is out there. This is the old hard copy. If you get the ebook, you get all of this plus more. So go pick it up. It's
the
definitely
iPad version has video and pictures and cool stuff. So
if you're a Friday the 13th fan and you don't own this book, by all means, you owe it to yourself to go pick it up. It is an awesome.
It's a must-own for Friday fans.
A must-own, absolutely. Again, big thanks to our friends over at T-Shirt Bordello. Follow the link in the description. Go check out their website. Show them some love. Big thanks to Doug from Drown Boy Productions. Follow the links in the description for his YouTube and his Facebook. Show him some love. Our friends over at Loot Crate. Follow the link in the description. Use the promo code in the description. Get $3 off your first crate. Again, thank you so much for joining us again tonight. Peter, it was a pleasure as always.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, we'll go ahead and we'll wrap it up there. Thanks again for joining us, guys. Have a great Friday the 13th. We'll see you next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Season 4 finale of The Sausage Factory. And we may just have some more giveaway items then, so definitely check us out. Be there next Thursday live on the Sausage Factory YouTube channel. So until then, you guys have a great week. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
Later.